Hello, I'm Arseny Bratinkov. I'm the student of school gymnasium number 15. The theme of my work, Big Ben and Kremlin chimes, are symbols of two great powers. I have chosen this theme because I'm learning English with a huge interest. The knowledge of language is impossible without studying the history of the country in which it appears and got its wide use. The aim of my work is to compare Big Ben and Kremlin chimes on Spasskaya Tower as symbols of two states and find their differences and similarities. A modern person is trying not to be late and to know exact time. Every country has its main clock that people refer to. Big Ben and Kremlin chimes are a symbol of two great powers. Let's now to name one of them to understand what country we are talking about. Every tourist visiting Moscow or London tries to see the heart of the capital. Big Ben and Kremlin chimes, despite the distance separating them, the age difference 203 years, and differences in the cultures of the countries, and attract tourists equally. Big Ben is a clock tower. Big Ben was built to replace old Westminster Palace, which was destroyed by the Great Fire in 1834. Since 2012, tower is officially called Queen Elizabeth and is symbol of the country. Today, Big Ben is just a name common among people. Big Ben is not the name of the tower, it's the name of the biggest bell in England. Its weight is more than 13 tons, it's the weight of 3 African elephants. Big Ben doesn't ring with the clapper. There is 200-kilogram hammer outside the bell which hits it. Earlier the hammer was too big and that's why the crack in the bell appeared. Now the bell has a little bit false sound. Big Ben's dials look at all 4 parts of the world. To eliminate dials, they use energy-saving lamps. But earlier they were gas lamps, and somebody needed to had to climb 334 steps to light them and then go down again. The accuracy of the clock checked 3 times a week. If a small error detected, the mechanism can be adjusted by a coin, penny, which the watchmakers add or remove, accelerating or slowing the clock. Why is it called Big Ben? There are 2 versions. So the first one was named after Sir Benjamin Hall, who oversaw the installation of the Great Bell. The second version is that it was named after English heavyweight boxing champion Benjamin Count. In any case, the name turned to be successful as possible. As time went by, Big Ben changed its functions. It was even a prison once. During the Second World War in 1941, the clock tower survived and continued to keep a count of time. Big Ben is very popular among viewers and no one can get inside the tower. For many centuries, the Spasskaya Tower has been the symbol of Russia, and of course its main attribute is the unique clock Kremlin Currants. No person in Russia can imagine the beginning of the new year without the famous clock chimes. Currants is a clock gong. The first currants in Moscow appeared in 1404. The whole Moscow heard the sound of the currants, and it was clear to everyone what the time was. After 180 years, new clock appeared. The Kremlin Currants have been counting exact Moscow time since 1852, when the Danish manufacturers, the brothers Butnov, installed them into Spasskaya Tower. One of the most important parts of the clock mechanism is grease fitting. The parts of mechanism constantly rub against each other and wear out. Therefore, the currents are often lubricated with oil. The clock may be slow or lag behind the exact time. This depends on the temperature and weather conditions. The clock mechanism has been working properly for more than 150 years. It is a symbol not only of the Kremlin, but of the whole Russia. All things considered, I can come to conclusion that these clocks have more differences than similarities. The clocks make different sounds, they have different physical characteristics, and the dates of construction is also different. There is a similarity in the presence of bells, 10 of them, but the main thing that they have in common is their historical and architectural value for each state. Thanks to these sites, you can take a look at Russian and English customs and traditions. As a result of the work I've done, I made a table of characteristics of the clocks. I've carried out a survey among my 30 classmates. I asked 5 questions on the topic I studied. My survey showed that my classmates don't know much about the clocks of 2 great powers, Big Ben and Kremlin Currants. That's why I decided to make a booklet about them. This is the booklet that I've made. It looks like that. There's everything about Spasskaya Tower and Big Ben. In conclusion, I can say that I made sure that Big Ben and Kremlin clocks have more differences than similarities. I learned how to select necessary information. I learned how to carry out a survey and make diagrams. Big Ben and Kremlin Currants were built in different epochs, in different countries, but throughout history they have remained significant objects of national heritage and still play a key role in the history of the countries. This work can be helpful for those who are interested in Great Britain and Russia and want to know more about them. It can be used in English lessons. Thanks for attention.